Hello and welcome to Reporters, the very best of France 24 reporting from around the world. The United States election is almost upon us, and as Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump enter the home straight, the focus is, as always, on a few swing states. A cluster of battlegrounds hold the key to the White House, none more so than Florida. Many a race has been decided there, including George W. Bush's contentious victory at the turn of the millennium. France 24's Sarabi Tandan sent this from Miami, where that poll still lingers in the memory.
7th November 2000, the closest presidential election in America's history.
This race is simply too close to call. And until the recount is concluded and the results in Florida become official, our campaign continues.
For the presidential race between George Bush and Al Gore, the state of Florida proved to be decisive. In West Palm Beach, which was at the heart of the election controversy of 2000, Commissioner Roberts remembers the recount of votes that she supervised.
This is an official sample ballot that people received in the mail. It's signed by myself. This is the butterfly ballot. I'm not sure why they named it that. And then I brought you a picture of us counting with some of the county staff, and this is myself. All of the media from all over the world was watching. I hope people realize how important it is to vote and that every vote counts.
Florida is arguably the most important state in the presidential elections. It is a swing state, so no one party has ever had consistent majority. The Hispanic community makes up a large number of swing voters here. Many live in this area in North Miami.
How did it go during the last rally? What did people say to you?
Good, but people are afraid that Trump will win. They're getting anxious.
Maria's family arrived 15 years ago from Argentina. Donald Trump's repeated statements to deport 11 million undocumented workers have been unnerving.
It's not easy. You are always with fear. You are always thinking that you can be stopped by the police while you are driving and you can be deported.
Maria's son Thomas became an American citizen less than a month ago. He will be voting for the first time in November and has decided to devote his life to American politics.
My dad had a really bad medical problem on his leg, which almost left him unable to walk, and he wasn't able to get the medical treatment he needed because he didn't have papers. While all that was happening, Donald Trump announced his presidency and started attacking immigrants, and I was just like, okay, time to dedicate my life, everything that I could, to stopping this guy and moving forward from that.
And I'm gonna make a big sign when it's over, the election, that say, "Loser, you're fired. Go back to your resort." I'm gonna do that.
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have both been pushing hard to woo Florida's voters.
We're gonna have a good time tonight. We're gonna have a good time. And it's great to be in my second home, Florida.
Hillary even brought Al Gore to Miami-Dade University in a bid to garner support from young voters. Al Gore is extremely popular among millennials for his work on climate change.
I'm running against the guy who denies science, denies climate change, says
This is the first and only appearance Gore has made with Clinton during this election cycle.
Elections, please take it from me, every single vote counts.
Seeing Al Gore campaign reignites the memories of his own presidential race with George Bush. In the elections of 2000, votes in Florida went into an automatic recount after the results were too close to decide a clear winner. This led to a 36-day constitutional battle for the White House.
We are here because the United States Constitution says we can be here.
Al Gore's team demanded an additional manual recount of the votes. But ultimately, the United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of George Bush. He won the presidency by a mere 537 votes.
President of the United States. George Bush, governor of Texas, will become the 43rd president of the United States.
The decision was controversial because it was taken before the manual recount finished. Mark Seibel was managing editor of the Miami Herald in 2000. In pursuit of the truth, he decided to lead an independent recount mission in all of Florida's 67 counties.
The conclusion that we came to was within the law, George Bush would have won, no matter what. But the system of balloting was so flawed with errors and bad ballots and inconsistent counting that if it worked the way it was supposed to work, Al Gore would have been the victor in Florida.
To avoid the same fate in the future, Florida decided to change the way ballots are cast.
Also, we were able to do is point out what are the problems with the electoral system. And I'm very proud of the state of Florida. Within weeks, they junked all the punch card machines. They went to electronic balloting.
But the real key to a successful election campaign is money. Here, in West Palm Beach, the wealthiest county in Florida, one of the most crucial supporters of the Republican Party is Gay Gaines.
I adore this picture of Ronald Reagan, his wife Nancy, Lady Thatcher, and Sir Dennis Thatcher. And I actually bid on that at the Christie's auction and got it because it meant so much to me.
Mrs. Gaines has been president of the Republican Club in West Palm Beach and remains an influential fundraiser for every Republican presidential candidate.
A successful fundraiser is when everybody comes and you raise over $500,000. That's a successful fundraiser.
But the Republican Party is facing an unprecedented lack of support from its rich elites. Not everyone accepts Trump as their candidate. Have you been doing fundraising for this campaign?
Yes, but not officially under the Trump umbrella. Just by asking my own friends, a wide network of people, to send money to the campaign. I think it's important for the party to stick together, like him or not, to stick together and defeat her.
Meanwhile, for the chairman of the Republican Party in Palm Beach, the pressure has intensified. Mike Barnett and his team have to work harder to motivate their voters.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And that's what it boils down to. Another 3 weeks, it's all on our shoulders. We got to get this man elected president. We got to get Donald Trump in the White House.
In a battle between a newcomer and a candidate that embodies America's political elite, the elections of 2016 have seen one of the most toxic campaigns in modern political history.
Hillary Clinton was involved in a black magic ceremony in Haiti, and there was an orgy after that. I can't understand how can anyone can go to a poll and vote for Hillary Clinton.
Get the vote out at any cost.
This is advertisement for Mrs. Liar. Just like for people to find out the truth, because a lot of people are still like brain dead, totally brain dead, that they don't realize the danger that Hillary is towards this country.
Back in Miami, Thomas and his team are not counting on a repeat of the previous two elections, even though Obama won the state both times. Today, he is training the party's volunteers to carry out the Democrat message to as many people as possible.
We're gonna get these people elected. So today, we're canvassing for Hillary Clinton, who's running against a sexist, racist, bigoted fascist, Donald Trump. It's really important that we beat him. He wants to ban people from coming to this country based on their religion. He brags about sexually assaulting women. Are you guys ready? Woo! Yeah.
There are approximately 4.4 million registered Republicans and nearly 4.6 million Democrats in Florida. This makes the election an extremely tight call. Some volunteers have even left their own state to chip in for Florida's race.
I'm here in Florida because Massachusetts is going to vote for Hillary whether we knock on doors or not. So if we can secure the vote for Hillary Clinton in Florida, the election's over. Donald Trump will lose, Hillary Clinton will win.
Every weekend, Thomas uses his free time to reach out to voters through door-to-door canvassing.
Hi, how are you?
But a significant number of people in the Sunshine State remain undecided.
For me, neither of these two are any good. But being a Republican, I'd rather have a Republican over anything else. That's why I might vote for Trump, not because I have faith in any of them.
At this point in time, where we are now, neither of the two candidates truly care about our nation or our problems, us, the middle class, who's moving the country forward.
The winning formula, Thomas says, is to never give up.
It's important because it's been proven in studies and statistically to be the most effective way to reach voters and to mobilize voters. We found out that when we do good field programs like this, that we get 7% more voter turnout.
On the night of the final presidential debate, patriotism is at its highest. This debate is the last opportunity for both candidates to reach out to the 72 million people that tuned in to see them.
You will absolutely accept the result of this election.
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time.
But the lack of showmanship during the debate has been disappointing, even for Republicans.
Today's debate, I think, is just kindergarten. They repeat the exact same thing. Nothing is different or new. It's a popularity contest.
2/3 of Americans believe the nation is on the wrong track, and 80% disapprove of the way Congress is doing its job.
USA! USA! USA!
But come 8th of November 2016, the 13 million registered voters of Florida will once again play a crucial role.
Well, to talk about her report, Surabi Tandon joins us now from Miami. Hi, Surabi. Tell us a little bit more about the atmosphere that you sampled filming so close to Election Day.
Well, I shot this report over several weeks, actually, so I'd been speaking to a lot of our characters for over a month, and then right in the beginning, we had Hurricane Matthew in Florida, or the scare of it at least, which suspended all election activity for a few days. But I'd say the first perceptible change really was when the presidential debates began. Immediately, we saw the Republicans were on a back foot, and the Democrats had a little bit more advantage in their field programs. It gave them a little bit more of a boost in terms of what they were saying about Donald Trump, his temperament, etc. But the second question to me while shooting this report was really what kind of voter turnout will we see this time with young people? So as we saw in the report, Hillary had come to Miami-Dade University. She wanted to speak to young people there. But after Hillary left, we stayed on and we spoke to a lot of the students that hadn't attended the rally. And almost all of the students that I talked to said that they weren't going to vote at all because neither of the two candidates appealed to them. And these students are also very young, so they don't remember the elections of 2000. They don't know what it's like to have an election where there's no clear winner. So I think it really, it remains to be seen in what kind of numbers they will show up on the 8th of November.
You're talking there about that 2000 election. Is there any chance of a repeat of that?
So in terms of a manual recount or there being a large number of undervotes or overvotes, no, because Florida has now switched to electronic balloting. But will Florida be a close call again? Now, this is an interesting question. As I said in the report, out of the 13 million registered voters, 4.6 are Democrats, 4.2 are Republicans, leaving the rest as independents where the pressure really is. Assuming they all vote, that's already a very close call. Also, what's interesting is that in national polls, Hillary has had a lead over Donald Trump for several weeks now. But in Florida, the polls keep changing. So at the beginning of the early voting, for instance, we saw Donald Trump have a certain percentage point lead against Hillary Trump. So really, it keeps changing. And as the early voting trends keep coming in, that's when we know where Florida is headed as we get closer to the election.
And to finish off, just tell us a little bit more about that early voting.
So early voting is actually a really important phenomenon in American elections. Almost 30 to 40% of the total votes come from early voting. It happens in two phases. There's the mailing in of ballots, and then there's the actual voting that takes place where people can go in and put in their ballots, just like on the 8th of November. These trends, of course, keep changing. Usually the Republicans are ahead when it comes to mailing in votes. But when people begin to actually go out and vote, at least in Florida, we've seen that the Democrats are dominating. And they've really broken through the Hispanic community this time, which has been traditionally Republican because of the number of Cubans living here. Now, partially that's Donald Trump's own doing, but it also is, as we saw in the report, because of effective field programs that the Democrat Party has had.
So Robbie Tandon in Miami, thanks ever so much for joining us. That's it for this edition of Reporters. Thanks for watching, and do stay with us here on France 24.